Welcome to another edition of the FarmCast. I'm Mike Wemhoff, the Vice President of Precision Ag for 21st Century Equipment. I got Troy Randall here with me today and Cole Young. Troy's a Precision Ag consultant and Cole's on the product specialist team. So thanks guys for being here. Today we just kind of want to talk a little bit about our planter training that we did internally and a few other topics. So maybe we'll kick it off and just what did we do last week? How'd it go?
We planted corn.
We planted corn.
Troy was busy.
Yeah.
Troy's the planter extraordinaire, right?
He was last week.
So been called. Yeah. So luckily, we're doing a little bit different this year. We have a good kind of trying to redo how we do our internal training, but putting our eggs in one basket this year. So we have a really good customer grower we work with over in Holyoke, Colorado. So who's gracious enough to kind of lend us some of his ground to do some training on. So what we did, we actually planted 4 circles there, and pretty much what we did is pretty much had all internal employees, salesmen come out and pretty much run the planter tractor for a handful of passes as much time as we had, and let them just kind of run it to get a feel for everything, that kind of goes on when it comes to actually running a planter out in the field. So they didn't get they didn't get a whole lot of experience setting it up, but they actually got to go out there, drive it, see what it's like actually going back and forth and that whole experience. So we had
nobody put it in the ditch?
Nope.
Oh, that's good.
Well, we had a saddle tank almost fall off, but that was
minor issues.
Yeah, that could have been bad, but we luckily caught it just in time. So
good deal.
I think that worked out, a lot better than how we've done it in the past. In the past we've had everybody out there all day long.
Yep.
And planter weather conditions, in that part of the country is typically not ideal. So,
yeah, it was very, very windy last week, so it was good to have just be in the cab the whole time.
That's why we, earlier this spring, we had basically the first portion of this training before the infield stuff. We went around to locations and we covered, planter hookup, initial settings, doing your row runoffs and everything like that. So, saved us a little time, I think, out in the field. So, and more time planting corn. So yeah. I think, talking to some salesmen, getting some feedback, I think it was very well received on their part. So that was always good to hear.
Yeah,
I heard that too. Good feedback on the event.
Yeah, it's a good experience for all our internal employees, because we got some that pretty much could probably set it up without any issue, and some that it was kind of the first time even driving a planter tractor to start with. Some of our younger, newer employees down south too, so it was a good experience for them, and we had pretty much everyone in between too, so just kind of get a chance to get out there. And the nice thing is we had everything set up so good with AutoTrac and turn automation that pretty much once they got going in the field, they didn't have to do anything. They just kind of sat there and kind of went around and just turned it each time by itself. So really it was pretty much just kind of sitting there riding along. Yeah. So there wasn't really a whole lot to do other than just kind of watch, make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and that was about it. So.
Exactly what we want to happen, right?
Yep, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
that keeps people out of the ditch. So I was going to ask, what equipment did we use out there?
So we had a 8R370 wheeled machine, and then we had a DR16 vertical fold planters that we used. Okay. So that was actually our third planter, because we had one we were going to use. It got sold. We found a second one. It got sold. So this was our third time's a charm. So luckily we had a nice used planter that a customer traded in a couple
good
years
problem
ago.
to have that when they got sold,
so
right?
That's just fine.
That's okay.
But no,
I really wanted to use the ExactShot Planter, but it was busy doing demos, so we kind of had to pick the next best option there. So.
Okay. Yeah, we talked in our last FarmCast about out here at the farm and utilizing the ExactShot Planter out here, and it went really well, and really excited to see how customers can adopt that technology going forward as well.
Yep, and actually yesterday, that's actually where me and the salesman were yesterday. We're actually demoing that to a customer out in my neck of the woods, and we ran it out there pretty much all day, side by side between his DR16 planter, which is set up similar way, just in furrow, so it's going to be cool to see. I think we were down, if I remember right, I think we're only using about 0.7 gallon per acre versus 5, so it was pretty shocking. And we were doing dry land, so only planting 15,000, so the space that it was about that far apart versus that whole band right there is only what it's applying. So it's going to be cool to see, one, what it looks like when it's coming out of the ground, but then come this fall, what that's going to look like in the combine.
Sure.
It's going to be, if it's equal yield as the rest of the field, then that'll be kind of a nice game changer there too. So
What was your band setting?
I think we had it done 2 inches.
2?
So
Okay.
yeah, we
I know
should have.
That's what they did out here
Yeah,
too.
I kind of didn't think about it. In fact, we should have tried some different band settings just to see if that would have any impact on yield. But we pretty much just left it on a dosing 2-inch band across the entire field. So and then we just did usual. But yeah, it was pretty shocking to see because I think we did 130 acres with it. And we only put in maybe 100 gallons, a little bit more. So it was pretty shocking to only put that much in. And then I think we still had, by the time we were all done, we still had to pull just a little bit out of the tank. So that was kind of cool to see that. So, but no, it worked.
Never had to refill?
No.
That's great.
Actually, I was running the other one. I had to go refill it because it ran out. So
so that brings up a performance thing, right?
Yeah.
If you're running them side by side, the race to see who can get done the fastest, right? So.
Yep.
Oh, we dove down a rabbit hole with the ExactShot here, but going back to the planter training, what does that mean for our customers? Getting our salesmen out there doing these internal trainings. What are the salesmen walking away that they can go talk to their customers about?
I think just having that, that real time seat time, those our salespeople can almost put their customer hat on, and say, I've done this, instead of we have all this information, on High Spot and the sales manual, and sales guys can have it memorized like a book, but really until you do it, until you're out there, it kind of drives a little bit more conversations, which hopefully customers really appreciate.
Sure.
I would think that they would. And the other thing that's cool too, like Troy kind of mentioned, we have multiple different knowledge, knowledge and skill levels across our company and our sales, staff, which is cool because, we can kind of cater while we're in the cab of what they want to learn, and or what they need to learn, So like Troy was saying, there's a lot of high level guys that, they're there and, they're good to go. We don't even have to tell them anything, and then we have somebody maybe 6 months, a year out of college that, they've never been in a planter like that. They've never planted 16 rows at 10 miles an hour, and just seeing that and experiencing, I think definitely goes a long ways.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because I had a few salesmen, some would ask kind of about the Seed Star system, some would ask about turn automation, some were asking about just other things in general. So it kind of depends each guy's a little bit different depending, but that's good because it just gives them some time to interact and ask questions.
Yeah.
Kind of learn about the system because even I think one salesman from up north, he was actually maybe trying to quote that planter out and sell it when we were done with it too. So because he was kind of asking all about it too. So he had some guys interested in it. So just each guy can ask what they want and kind of get out what they want to do from it. So
Time to move on to the next planter because this one's sold, just like the other one. So.
that's the goal.
Good. What was the technology new for a lot of our salesmen with turn automation and some of those more advanced pieces? Was that
I think so,
a learning curve?
We did a lot of ATTA, turn automation training last year. Troy and you guys' team did a really good job of kind of, from start to finish, how to set that up, how to make your adjustments, everything like that. So, a lot of the guys, again, they have been going out and visiting their customers and saying, hey, you have the hardware, let's turn this on and let's play with it. So I think that's been really cool, kind of seeing that grow, I don't know. I think it's, again, pretty valuable, especially with like Troy said, you get it all set up and you almost get bored in there.
Sure.
I mean, you can plant a 130 acre pivot and, maybe touch the wheel twice.
Yeah, I would say right now the tractor is pretty much autonomous. It's just the small things you can't account for. What happens when this plugs up? What happens when this happens? So the tractor can, technology-wise, can run itself just fine. So it's all the unknowns that Yep. That's why you need someone sitting in the seat. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's very, very cool to get it set up and show everyone. So. But
that's where that just that next piece of automation comes in, and we'll see furrow vision come down the pipe here, and other pieces that can really start to measure what's happening row by row and seed by seed, and making sure that just one other thing that you don't have to watch for anymore, and you get alerted. So if customers, if you're watching this, come talk to us about those technologies. Download the Operations Center app, start to utilize that to do that more remote monitoring, can really help from that aspect as well. And no solar flare problems?
Oh, geez.
Not that day.
Yeah, luckily we think we started our training on a Tuesday and did it Wednesday, Thursday, and luckily I got the last end rows done, Thursday evening. So, but then we thought the worst thing, it was kind of a nice quiet Friday until about 3:30, and then all heck broke loose. So
yeah. What did we see? And I mean, I think we had a big problem with our radio RTK.
Yeah, that
network,
was the main,
right?
main issue. So I remember, I think I got a call. I was out helping a customer, then got a call from another customer real quick, and he said, like, hey, I got something weird. I'm like, what's that? I was like, my line just moved 15 inches. Like, oh, that's not good. And then I opened up my Snapchat, got a Snapchat from another customer, and the exact same thing. Like, uh-oh, this is not good. Because I think I remember hearing something in the news that we were due for some extreme solar activity, and that's exactly when it hit. Because then I kind of gave everyone a heads up and sent out an email to the whole company like, hey, this is what we're seeing. So kind of be forewarned and let all my guys know. And about the exact same time, I think everyone's phone started blowing up. Yeah, especially on our team. Yeah, everyone started getting calls that their radio RTK was not performing as it should. So, but yeah, the weird thing was, it was pretty much just all radio RTK customers were the most impacted, it seemed like. So we still had some guys running SF-RTK, which luckily they didn't see any issue with that. And then some guys running, SF1, SF3. They didn't have. I think throughout the weekend there were some instances where some of those customers had some issues too. But for the most part, it was just the radio RTK, because how that works is pretty much we have with radio RTK you're using one centralized, pretty much one reference station, base station all by itself. So if there's anything that impacts just that one receiver, it's going to throw off anything connected to it. Versus the Starfire, like SF-RTK, SF3, it uses multiple reference stations throughout the U.S. and it's a little more fine-tuned of a signal versus just using that one specific. So if there's any kind of interference between that and your machine, that's where we saw the big issue with radio SF-RTK. Even cell-based RTK had the kind of similar issue, because it's all based off that one kind of reference station. So
okay, yeah. No, and hopefully maybe another good highlight to switching to SF-RTK. Just eliminate that one pain point, that one problem point that could happen at any time, whether we have another solar flare or lose power or hailstorm, windstorm, whatever.
Yeah, so it worked out good, because like right about 4 o'clock, 4:30, I actually was at a location. I ran to one of our customers that we just switched all SF-RTK with lots of units, and I kind of stopped him real quick. He's like, hey, how things are going? I was like, well, we'll see. And then I asked him, and then he called his brother, who's kind of heads up all that and from all the technology and guidance on their operation, and he hadn't heard anything, and they're running all SF-RTK. I was like, oh, well, that's good. So that's what I kind of knew right away, that it was kind of a radio based RTK issue at the moment. So
yeah, it's cheaper to go SF-RTK than put your markers back on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know.
We don't want to see any markers.
No, we don't.
What are those things?
Wing weights. So I was just thinking I was gonna make fun of guys that still had markers on. I was like, oh, you're never use those. And I was like, oh crap, I just kind of ate my words. So
did they get out their flip phone too at the same time?
Yeah. I even saw some guy I think he was just making more of a funny video, but he was actually just hand driving it. So on strip till ground. So I don't think he did that very long. But
it gets tiring.
So it was definitely. I don't think you really could. You probably couldn't even physically do that. In most cases anymore. So so.
Yeah, just I think all these pieces of automation that we have now, just really take that burden off the operator, and especially for if you don't know the field, you don't know the boundaries. There's no guessing, right? And your guess rows are always exactly where you want them to be, and I've heard that feedback from customers too that went into SF-RTK this year. Just the accuracy is so much better than what they could get previously. So one customer even said, wish I could have done this 10 years ago. So it's
a nice thing. It takes the guesswork out of it too, because like right now with radio, you have to switch, make sure on the right base station, make sure the base station is working with SF-RTK. It's just, if you got it, if everything's working good, it's just, you just can go from here to over there, wherever you want to go, and it's just going to be the same signal quality no matter where you go. So which is much nicer. So
we fight that a lot here on the Front Range. These guys might be farming 35, 40 miles away, which out in your neck of the woods is pretty common.
Yeah, that's no different out there.
Around here, that's a lot of driving. So, especially having multiple different operators, you're always having to call a guy and say, hey, you're going to be on this base station. You're going to be on this base station. It's just it's a pain in the rear that SF-RTK definitely eliminates a lot of those headaches. So.
Never have to worry about it.
Nope.
Yeah. So Cole, what are we doing next from a product specialist side of the world?
We've got a lot of demos getting lined up here. Forage harvesters are going to be running here very quickly in this area. They're already running a lot out east, so we'll be doing a lot of those demos. A lot of windrower demos, baler demos, obviously taking care of the farm here at the same time. So It's going to be busy, but it's going to be pretty fun.
Good.
So,
Good. What all, I guess, from your vantage point, and Troy, you too. We talked about the farm here in our last episode, but from your guys' seat in the house, what do you see going on the farm? What are you excited about that's happening out here?
I mean, you guys talked about the ExactShot on the last pod, and I think, I'm really excited to see the emergence on this corn. Just to see maybe pull some roots. See what we've got going there, and then I'm really excited to combine this field. Yeah. So I'm not typically a combine guy per se, but I'm really excited to see, especially on the data side of how this ExactShot is going to pay us some dividends. So
sure.
That's probably what I'm most excited for out here so far.
We got a pretty cool new combine to use too. So
yeah, I was going to bring up predictive speed automation. Can't wait to see that in action. So
hopefully our wheat stays standing and doesn't get too big of a head, and the Mother Nature doesn't blow it down for us. That might be a little bit of an issue with predictive feed rate, but
sure.
Be curious to see. We'll have that same combine out here for this wheat too. So hopefully, dive in the field and go. So that's the goal anyway.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm curious to see here is like what we've been talking about, ExactShot. So what the differences is there, how that pans out, and if we hopefully see the same yield across the field, but then of course we save the fertilizer, so that's kind of what we're after right there. So it'll be cool to see that, and then also when you get the sprayer out here, kind of see scene spray versus broadcast, if we can see any differences right there of what we're going to do out here. So because actually just this week I was kind of working with some other product specialists and getting some of our scene spray units going kind of out in my neck of the woods, and it went very smooth, and the customers were pretty pleased with it. So it's going to be cool to see what those customers learn from the system, what we learn from the system, and kind of how they utilize those each differently in each operation. Because that's kind of the big thing we've learned with that scene spray system, is it's not a cookie cutter approach for everyone. It's kind of a different take on the whole application side of how you utilize it, how you benefit from it. So it's going to be cool to see how our different customers actually implement that technology. And then we're already starting to see some are kind of doing some fallow fields right now, either pre-plant or just cleaning up fallow fields throughout the summer. And it's cool to see how much they're saving right now, how much they're not being applied right now by those sprayers. So it's pretty cool to see that. So. And
fallow's where we see some of the best savings from a see and spray perspective.
Best potential right there. So
up to 80%.
Some of them. Some like we're actually looking at like 80% savings, 82, 83, just depends. So
that's great. That's great.
It really depends on the weed pressure.
Yeah, I saw our agronomy trial out here on the corn field, and seeing those 4 bands that we did of hopper throttle, non-hopper throttle, ExactShot, non-ExactShot, kind of pulling all those together in different combinations. Really can't wait to see how the yield, what yield we get out of that with and without some of that technology, and then also being able to utilize the new combine and the technology that's coming out with it. So you always talk about plan. So talk about the planning out here, and I guess maybe what planning's next.
So I kind of work with our product specialists, and we kind of worked as a team to kind of put a plan together for our demo training test field over here, our sandbox field, more or less. Just kind of play around with
literally a sandbox.
Yeah, no.
Got your toys out there?
No. We got sand. This is not very sandy around here, so we have real sandboxes, not where I'm from, unfortunately. So, but so we pretty much planned kind of our different test strips out here. Got those all set up. Got those sent to the machines. That when we're actually running it in the machine, we knew exactly what application or product needed to go where. So we're going to do the same thing here when we do the sprayer too. So we're going to do some strips of this broadcast spray and seeing spray as well too. So that's kind of our plan out here. So and that kind of like something I talked about at the expo this year when it comes to trials is planning, set up, and actually probably need to go harp on some people because they haven't. Some of our own internal people have been a little short when it comes to getting the information on setting things up too. So
sure,
I'll keep harping on that. So planning, and not. Usually the night before we're going to do the demo is not ideal to set this up, but it's that we kind of have to pivot to some of the stuff too, because since we were doing demos or trials, you never know if it's going to be this field, that field, what it's going to be. So you have to be kind of fluid there too. But usually as long as you have kind of a good goal and top of mind, then you can kind of pivot and do what you need to when you do it. But
I mean, it's so clean. I mean, once that hits the tractor and it's imported, I mean, as much information as you guys have in there, I mean, you could have the most inexperienced operator out there, and you could throw them in that tractor And as long as he's looking at that work plan,
Yep.
the notes are in there. He knows exactly what to do. If the tractor's not already doing it for him. So, a little legwork on, maybe the higher level guys in your operation, and push it to the tractor.
Yep.
And it's super clean. So.
Well, it saves you that time pulling into the field and sitting there,
Yeah.
pushing buttons, figuring things out. It's just ready to go, right?
We pulled into our cornfield. We had everything, like Troy said, everything was in, work plan was in, and we pulled into this field and never stopped. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been utilizing and pushing work plan a lot this spring because it's very nice whether you use it pretty much full gamut. You set everything up beforehand, or something I do for some of my guys is just send prescriptions. So it's super simple. I just go in there, choose the field. The prescription's already assigned to that field because I made it an option already to sign it. Pretty much attached to that field, sent the machine, and boom, as soon as they get there, there's no importing on their side. It's pretty much just there, and then they can set up everything else they need to, their varieties, because they're kind of always changing varieties throughout the field too, so I kind of let them do it. But if you are kind of a higher level guy and want to set up everything beforehand, you can do it too. So it's got some different levels of what you can set up. But yeah, I've been very pleased with how good WorkPlanner's been working. It's been awesome, how quick it is, and it's been actually just before we came here, I was sending one to a customer because he was missing his circle track lines, and seriously, as soon as I hit send, I was already at the same time, and pretty much I could see it on his RDA session. That pretty much as soon as I hit send, it was boom, file import. It's like, yeah, that's pretty nice when it's
that fast.
when it's that fast. So it's very nice. So
yeah, so you can do some real-time cramming to get that done, right?
So
But if you do it ahead of time, a lot easier.
I'll still heart planning beforehand, but it's, we can always, in a pinch, we can get stuff done too. So
Sure, good. How about irrigation out here? We got pivot behind us here, and
It's been going good. So, a lot of our customer base, especially out eastern Colorado, Nebraska, it's all well irrigation. Every pivot's on a well. You see that a little bit here on the front range, but it's a lot of ditch water. So basically, snow runoff from the mountains, it all comes down through the ditches. There's thousands of them. So our water pulls out of a lake just up here on the north side of our farm. So we're kind of constantly having to maintain levels there. Goes to multiple different holding ponds. It's a little bit of a feat instead of just turning it on your phone and not having to worry about it. But we've got plenty of water, so we actually just got done. This pivot just stopped here about 4 a.m. this morning. That's why you notice it's still a little wet around here. And then we just fired up the corn pivot here today. Probably get going here next week or two on some fertigation on this wheat. I'm going to apply it all through the pivot, so that'll be nice. Save us an airplane from coming and doing it. So and then we can kind of control our own inputs there. So it's been good. Like I said, it took us a little bit to get it figured out. Kind of where we need water levels to run and how much water we need to put through the pivot, but got it all figured out, and it's gone pretty smooth so far.
Good.
So.
It's good to try out some fertigation through irrigation, and just our goal here is to take some risk, like with See and Spray, and really be able to show our customers what this technology can really do for them, and hopefully how they can use that on their farm going forward. Well, Troy, Cole, thanks for joining us here at the FarmCast today, and thanks for joining us online too. Appreciate you listening, and hopefully walked away with some nuggets of different things that we're trying here at the farm and across our entire company of just how we're really focused on getting that knowledge and technology to all members of 21st Century to pass that along to customers as well. We saw a lot of this at the expo we did this year, and a reminder that our expo for next year is already set, February 26th and 27th in Greeley again. So looking forward to have everybody there, and these two gentlemen will be there dropping some more knowledge, helping us out. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time at the FarmCast.